Hey, welcome to Socialism for All. Today's date is April 9, 2020, and this is an audiobook of Demands of the Communist Party in Germany by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Before we get into the audiobook, I want to ask you quickly if you could just hit the like button, share, subscribe, comment. All of that interaction helps to boost this video, helps more people to see content from Socialism for All. You can also follow us at facebook.com/Socialism for All or support us at Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Patreon.com/Socialism for All. And thanks to our current patrons, we have 2 patrons right now, and that's awesome. We just started this channel about a month ago. Okay, so into the audiobook. This is from the PDF version of the Manifesto of the Communist Party, hosted at Marxists.org, the Marxists Internet Archive. And this starts with a editorial note in the PDF file written apparently by somebody at Marxists.org. So I'm going to read that first, and then we'll get into the pamphlet itself. Demands of the Communist Party in Germany were written by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels in Paris between March 21st, when Engels arrived in Paris from Brussels, and March 24, 1848. The document was discussed by members of the Central Authority, who approved and signed it as the political program of the Communist League in the revolution that broke out in Germany. In March, it was printed as a leaflet for distribution among revolutionary German emigrant workers who were about to return home. Austrian and German diplomats in Paris informed their respective governments about this as early as March 27, 28, and 29. The Austrian Ambassador enclosed in his letter a copy of the leaflet, which he dated March 25. The leaflet soon reached members of the Communist League in other countries, in particular German immigrant workers in London. Early in April, the Demands of the Communist Party in Germany were published in such German democratic papers as Berliner Zeitungshalle, special supplement to number 82, April 5th, 1848, Düsseldorfer Zeitung, number 96, in 1848, Mannheimer Abendzeitung, number 96, April 6, 1848, Trierische Zeitung, number 97, April 6, 1848 supplement, Deutsche Allgemeine Zeitung, number 100, April 9, 1848 supplement, and Zeitung für das deutsche Volk, number 21, April 9, 1848. Marx and Engels, who left for Germany roundabout April 6 and sometime later settled in Cologne, did their best along with their followers to popularize this program document during the Revolution. In 1848 and 1849, it was repeatedly published in the periodical press and in leaflet form. Not later than September 10, 1848, the demands were printed in Cologne as a leaflet for circulation by the Cologne Workers' Association, both in the town itself and in a number of districts of Rhenish Prussia. In addition to minor stylistic changes, point 10 in the text of the leaflet was worded differently from that published in March-April 1848. At the Second Democratic Congress held in Berlin in October 1848, Friedrich Beust, delegate from the Cologne Workers' Association, spoke on behalf of the Social Question Commission in favor of adopting a program of action closely following the demands. In November and December 1848, various points of the demands were discussed at meetings of the Cologne Workers' Association. Many editions of the demands published during the Revolution and after its defeat have survived to this day in their original form, some of them as copies kept in the police archives. At the end of 1848 or the beginning of 1849, an abridged version of the demands was published in pamphlet form by Weller Publishers in Leipzig. The slogan at the beginning of the document, the second paragraph of point 9, and the last sentence of point 10 were omitted, and the words "the committee" were not included among the signatories. In 1853, an abridged version of the demands was printed, together with other documents of the Communist League, in the first part of the book, Die Kommunisten Verschwörungen des 19. Jahrhunderts. Thank you for bearing with my German. Published in Berlin for the purposes of information by Wermuth and Stieber, 2 police officials who staged a trial against the communists in Cologne in 1852. Later, Engels reproduced the main points of the demands in his essay on the history of the Communist League, published in November 1885 in the newspaper Sozialdemokrat, and as an introduction to the pamphlet, K. Marx Entschuldigen über den Kommunistenprozess zu Köln, Hattingen, Zurich, 1885. English translations of the demands of the Communist Party in Germany appeared in the collections The Communist Manifesto of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, with an introduction and explanatory notes by D. Reisenoff, Martin Lawrence, London, 1830. K. Marx, Selected Works, Volume 2, edited by V. Adaratsky, Moscow, Leningrad, Cooperative Publishing Building of Foreign Workers in the USSR, 1936. Same, New York, 1936, Birth of the Communist Manifesto, edited and annotated with an introduction by D.J. Streak. International Publishers, New York, 1971, and in other publications. The text is from MECW, Volume 7, page 3. Demands of the Communist Party in Germany. Workers of all countries, unite. 1. The whole of Germany shall be declared a single and indivisible republic. 2. Every German, having reached the age of 21, shall have the right to vote and to be elected, provided he has not been convicted of a criminal offense. 3. Representatives of the people shall receive payment so that workers, too, shall be able to become members of the German parliament. 4. Universal arming of the people. In the future, the armies shall be simultaneously labor armies, so that the troops shall not, as formerly, merely consume, but shall produce more than is necessary for their upkeep. This will, moreover, be conducive to the organization of labor. 5. Legal services shall be free of charge. 6. All feudal obligations, dues, corvées, tithes, etc., which have hitherto weighed upon the rural population, shall be abolished without compensation. 7. Princely and other feudal estates, together with mines, pits, and so forth, shall become the property of the state. The estates shall be cultivated on a large scale and with the most up-to-date scientific devices in the interests of the whole of society. 8. Mortgages on peasant lands shall be declared the property of the state. Interest on such mortgages shall be paid by the peasants to the state. 9. In localities where the tenant system is developed, the land rent or the quit rent shall be paid to the state as a tax. The measures specified in numbers 6, 7, 8, and 9 are to be adopted in order to reduce the communal and other burdens hitherto imposed upon the peasants and small tenant farmers without curtailing the means available for defraying state expenses and without imperiling production. The landowner, in the strict sense, who is neither a peasant nor a tenant farmer, has no share in production. Consumption on his part is therefore nothing but abuse. 10. A state bank, whose paper issues are legal tender, shall replace all private banks. This measure will make it possible to regulate the credit system in the interest of the people as a whole, and will thus undermine the dominion of the big financial magnates. Further, by gradually substituting paper money for gold and silver coin, the universal means of exchange, that indispensable prerequisite of bourgeois trade and commerce, will be cheapened, and gold and silver will be set free for use in foreign trade. Finally, this measure is necessary in order to bind the interests of the conservative bourgeoisie to the government. 11. All the means of transport, railways, canals, steamships, roads, the posts, etc., shall be taken over by the state. They shall become the property of the state and shall be placed free at the disposal of the impecunious classes. 12. All civil servants shall receive the same salary, the only exception being that civil servants who have a family to support and who therefore have greater requirements shall receive a higher salary. 13. Complete separation of church and state. The clergy of every denomination shall be paid only by the voluntary contributions of their congregations. 14. The right of inheritance to be curtailed. 15. The introduction of steeply graduated taxes and the abolition of taxes on articles of consumption. 16. Inauguration of national workshops. The state guarantees a livelihood to all workers and provides for those who are incapacitated for work. 17. Universal and free education of the people. It is to the interest of the German proletariat, the petty bourgeoisie, and the small peasants to support these demands with all possible energy. Only by the realization of these demands will the millions in Germany, who have hitherto been exploited by a handful of persons, and whom the exploiters would like to keep in further subjection, win the rights and attain to that power to which they are entitled as the producers of all wealth. The Committee. Karl Marx, Karl Schapper, H. Bauer, F. Engels, J. Moll, W. Wolf.